Alright, ladies and gentlemen, with the sequel still in theaters, I have finally seen Boo! A Medea Halloween. It's different, in an Eddie Murphy sort of a way. It is the story of a gentleman trying to keep his daughter, his 17-year-old daughter, from going to a frat party, and enlisting the aid of Medea, who is a woman who has beaten this man as a child so badly that he wound up on life support. There is a lot to process in Medea, Boo! A Medea Halloween, released in 2016. It is an interesting story with three characters, Medea, the father, and the father's father, the grandfather, all played by Tyler Perry. And one of the things that you see in this movie is what could be considered a very negative portrayal of our African American brothers, in that most of the African Americans in this film have warrants, have committed child abuse, do things like steal, and are generally good at heart, but not exactly good people. And to truly quantify this movie, I would have to put it this way. Medea, Boo! A Medea Halloween, Tyler Perry's Boo! A Medea Halloween, is two wrestling ideas. It is the idea of you should never hit your children and guard them from life, and the idea that you should be stern and demanding and really put it out there that you're in charge. Now, I have to point out here, the guy that was beaten so badly as a child that he wound up on life support grew up to be a lawyer. And that's a motorcycle. His daughter, on the other hand, it doesn't say if she's a good student or not, or what her aspirations in life are. She really just seems like a mouthy teenager that gives her father no respect. So, exactly who is right is questionable. I can't really go over how it ends, because these ideas, where they are there, they are often sidebar to the action of the film, which is about a bunch of, people playing pranks on Medea, and what a bizarre person Medea is. So, it is a movie that is about strength of character, and there's a lot of kind of talking jokes, not a lot of action particularly, although the action you see, like there is a dude doing like flips in this movie. There is some cool action in this movie, but again, you're looking at a very low budget film that takes its main action and says, here is the main action, and then at the very end pulls out a moral that is not necessarily supported by the main action. And that is kind of the big problem with this film. And I would have to say, if I were to meet Mr. Perry, I would say, dude, what you need to do is you need to go out there and have a psychologist check your work. Because you're pushing some really major themes of psychology here. I mean, it's like, look, if you're a parent and you say, you need to do what I say because I say it, well, that's called child abuse. It actually is. It's a style of parenting that tends to press your children to do drugs. The correct methodology is to come out here and say, look, if I tell you to do something, I'm telling you to do something for a good reason. And you want to make it a good reason. I mean, if your child comes out and says, well, it's like, why we'll use what's in the film. Why can't I go to this party? Well, for one thing, you're underage. Those are college kids. It's illegal. All right? Something bad could happen to you at this party, and things that are bad generally happen at parties like this. So I am protecting you. I'm not saying you can't go next year when you're 18 and hopefully smart enough, or when you go to college, but at this point there's this whole legality thing. Although I would also point out that it's a frat party and nothing good ever comes of going to frat parties. You wind up shooting fireworks out of your anus and going to the hospital. It's terribly uncomfortable. But that's not the point. The point here is there's a lot of good aspects of Medea. There are a lot of bad aspects of Boo! Medea Halloween. I cannot decide whether this is a good movie or not. On the one hand, I will say that it's a rarity in our modern age to see a movie that has predominantly minority characters, so that is a definite positive. But it's how these characters are portrayed. You do not want people to idolize Medea. On the one hand, Medea was a responsible human being, saved for retirement, and has taken care of herself. On the other hand, she admits that she saved from an illegal income, sold her body, and has several warrants with the police. So it is a dichotomy that, you know, people aren't all good, people aren't all bad. It's really hard for me to say that this film is either of the two. Now again, if you're looking for a true comedy, this is not for you. It's not a true comedy. It's a dramedy, in that there is strong drama happening, and a lot of the things that are being discussed are more horrifying than funny. I mean, you know, the father character apparently lost a testicle when his father threw him off an airplane. No, threw him off a roof. Really? You're going to ruin my video? But anyway, yeah, I mean, decide for yourself if you like it or not. I can just tell you that it's not a bad movie, it's not a great movie. And people rag on Tyler Perry. I'm going to be honest here. I don't see what's so bad about him. He's trying to be the next Eddie Murphy. I'll grant you that that's a bad thing, but other than playing the multiple characters and utilizing the same style of humor, you know, hey, these are good little movies. They're not as bad as some of the garbage out there. But they're not, I mean, like, yeah, I would rather watch Swiss Army Man a second time than watch this movie a second time. I would rather watch it a second time than watch Boo! A Medea Halloween a second time. And if it weren't for the fact that I have to watch new movies to review them, I would still probably never watch Boo! A Medea Halloween again. But I'm glad I watched it. It is a solid movie. And, I mean, if you were a fan of early Eddie Murphy work, hey, definitely for you. If you were not a fan of Eddie Murphy's early work, definitely not for you. You just have to, I mean, I can't go strongly either way on this one. I'm very split down the middle. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'm Richard Leyland Neal. I'd love to hear your opinion down in the comments below.